St. George, warrior, martyr, legend, and the patron saint of England. But who was he really? And how did a man born over 1,000 miles from English soil become such a central figure in the story of England? St. George was born around the year 280 AD in Cappadocia, in what is now modern-day Turkey. He was a Roman citizen, the son of a noble military family. Like his father before him, he joined the Roman army and quickly rose through the ranks. He was known not only for his skill in battle, but for his integrity and devotion to Christianity, at a time when the Roman Empire was growing increasingly hostile toward Christians. Under the rule of Emperor Diocletian, the persecution of Christians became brutal and widespread. Churches were destroyed, scriptures were burned, and thousands of believers were executed for refusing to renounce their faith. St. George was one of them. Refusing to obey the emperor's order to participate in the persecution, he declared his faith publicly. He was arrested, tortured, and eventually executed, beheaded in the year 303 AD. His courage and defiance made him a martyr, and his story spread rapidly through the early Christian world. But how did he become a legend? Over the centuries, stories of St. George's bravery took on mythical qualities. The most famous of all is the tale of St. George and the dragon. According to the legend, a fearsome dragon terrorized a town, demanding sheep and, when those ran out, human sacrifices. The people were forced to offer their children chosen by lot. One day, the king's daughter was selected. As she awaited her fate, St. George appeared. With sword in hand and faith in his heart, he fought and slew the dragon, saving the princess and converting the grateful townspeople to Christianity. Though clearly a myth, the story captured the medieval imagination, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil, faith over fear, and courage over cruelty. It was during the time of the Crusades that the legend of St. George really took hold in England. English soldiers fighting in the Holy Land heard tales of the warrior saint and adopted him as their own protector. He was seen in visions on the battlefield, said to have led armies to victory. His red cross on a white background became a symbol of divine favor in war, and eventually the national flag of England. In 1348, King Edward III established the Order of the Garter, England's highest order of chivalry. He dedicated it to St. George, placing him at the heart of English knighthood and honour. From that point on, St. George was more than a foreign saint. He was England's spiritual champion. His feast day, the 23rd of April, was celebrated with festivals, jousts, parades, and church services. For centuries, it rivaled even Christmas in importance. Although celebrations of St. George's Day waned after the Reformation, the symbol of the Red Cross remained, and during times of war, national crisis, or sporting pride, it re-emerges, instantly recognizable, deeply rooted, and powerfully symbolic. So what does St. George mean to England today? More than just a figure in history, St. George represents the values the English people have long cherished: bravery, honor, sacrifice, and a quiet but unshakable resolve. He may not have been English by birth, but his legacy lives on in the heart of England's national identity. He is a reminder that stories, both real and legendary, have the power to unite people, to inspire them, and to shape the course of history. Subscribe now to the British History channel to learn more about British history and their impact around the globe.